Hey, everybody, welcome back. What a great day. I'm so happy to be here with you guys today. It's been a super productive and energizing day. I've already gotten so much done. I was able to get my journaling done first thing this morning, and I felt really good about it. It was really productive. I was able to spend some time reading my book for book club, which was nice. I was able to enjoy some sunshine while I did that. And I have started a new thing that I'm going to try to implement, which is to try to spend a few minutes each morning reading the Bible. And I did that this morning and it felt really good. It gave me a really nice, soft launch into my day. And it doesn't hurt that it's an absolutely gorgeous day here in sunny Southern California. Yes, I said that. I know it's the first week of February. And if you are other places in the country, I'm sorry. We are having a beautiful, gorgeous spell of weather, and I'm very grateful for where I live. With all of that said, I really wanted to talk today about the fact that I'm finally learning to be on my own side. And I'm going to get into what I mean by all that. But first, I'm going to start off with telling you a story. A few weeks back, I went to a party. It was a gathering, nothing crazy, wine, food, cocktails, and just a long night of talking and laughing. And so we had a lovely time. We went to this party. We enjoyed ourselves. We did not drive, so we knew we didn't have to worry about much. And I just realized that something's been happening more and more lately. When I drink, wine hits me differently now. When I drink alcohol, alcohol hits me differently now. Not in some extreme way, nothing ridiculous. Just I feel it sooner, I feel it longer, and I definitely feel it the next day in ways that I didn't used to. And I'm sure most of you guys know what I'm talking about. It used to be, wow, that was a great party. You'd get up, you'd clean the yard the next morning, and you'd go on with your weekend. And now it's, wow, that was a great party. And it takes you 2 or 3 days to get through cleaning the whole entire yard and bringing it back to the way it used to look before the party because, well, it doesn't have to be done today. And after all, we're kind of tired. So I just started to notice that happened, and I felt the same thing with food. I used to be able to eat pretty much anything, drive through wherever, insert whatever fast food place you're thinking about, and I would grab whatever, didn't think twice about what it was going to be, and I would just keep it moving. Now, I was lying to myself because I did feel the afternoon crashes and, the really low lows from eating too many carbs and then feeling really, really weak and tired and drained. And so a part of me was kind of fooling myself, but in my mind, I had enough fuel and enough energy and I would keep it moving and I would get through my day somehow, some way. Now, if I don't eat properly, my entire mood and body just revolt. I pay for it, man. And it's made me way more aware of what I'm putting into my body and what I'm putting into myself as a human in general. Even with movement, right? We walk, we go to the gym, and I was so used to aiming just to get those things done. Oh, today I'm going to go to the gym and then I'm going to go to the grocery store and then I'm going to do da 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 da. Okay. Or tomorrow I'm going to go on a really long walk before anything. I was so used to just aiming for those things that I never really understood or valued the idea of a rest day. And I honestly have a little confession to make. I kind of thought that rest days or mental health days were for people who were kind of weak. and couldn't handle it. But now, now I feel completely different, and I apologize to all of you people. I never really stood in judgment, but I just thought that in my own head. Now I think that rest days are for people who actually want to keep living their lives and not burn out. And that's when I created Me Monday. It's just something I started recently, but it's literally a day where I either do something just for me, even if it's something simple like, oh, today I am going to give myself a manicure, or today I'm going to do a facial, or today I'm going to go buy a really pretty plant and I'm going to plant it outside in the garden and listen to music. I have made Me Monday into a day where I just do something for myself, or I do nothing at all. And I'm realizing the hidden blessing is that it's actually giving me more energy and more momentum, not less. It's really cool. The more time I take to just nurture myself a little bit, the more energy I feel for everything else. And if you're thinking, I don't have time, I barely have enough time to get the laundry done, or, I'm not even getting through the book I've been wanting to read because I just don't have enough time for even the things that have to get done, much less a Me Monday. This girl, what's she thinking? Well, I promise you that you have more time than you think. Anybody can carve out a few minutes a week of you time. And if you don't believe me, go to your phone settings and check your weekly usage and see if you can't carve out 15 or 20 minutes to give yourself a facial, or to put that heating pad that has that really cool massager on your back because it's been bothering you. Woman, man, young, old, no matter who you are, your body is not optional in this life. So you need to give yourself a little bit of grace and time and honor it. I think one of the quietest, strangest parts of aging is doing the same things, but feeling completely different when you're doing them. Simple things like, remember when I did the closet reorganization? I was exhausted for 3 days after that. Or even taking down Christmas this year felt a little different than it did last year. I took it a little slower. I, made sure I had a ladder instead of trying to catapult from the top of the coffee table. All of that stuff used to be no big deal. And now I still do them. I talk about it on this podcast all the time, but my body feels it. I don't bounce back quite the same way as I used to. And I definitely am not sitting here trying to tell you that want to be younger or that I want to turn back time. I'm grateful for where I am in life. I just want my body to respond the way it used to. Now, I'm not trying to be melodramatic. This isn't dramatic grief. It's not like sitting around crying about getting older. It's small daily grief, noticing you're more tired, noticing recovery takes just a little bit longer, noticing that you have to plan things you never had to plan before. Now you got to think about them. You got to schedule them in. You got to take your time when you're doing them. And I think a lot of us pretend that we don't care about that. We joke about it. We brush it off. We say, oh, well. But we do care. We do. I think we're quietly mourning old stamina while still trying to stay grateful for who we are in the moment. At least that's what I'm trying to do. And in doing so, I'm also redefining what I think of when I think of the word health. What do I see? What do I think of when I think of my health? Well, my definition of health has completely shifted. as you might be guessing. I'm less interested in being impressive, and I'm way more interested in just feeling okay. Of course, a body that looks good is nice, but what I really want is a body that lets me enjoy my life. I want to be strong enough to hang out all day at Disneyland. I want to be able to go hiking with my friends who enjoy hiking and still be able to come home and have an entire, productive afternoon and evening. I want to travel. I want to be able to have really, really long walking days where I'm exploring different parts of this beautiful world that we get to inhabit. I want to host parties and get-togethers and laugh. And I want to stay out late sometimes and not feel completely wrecked for 3 days after. And I can do all of that now. But I'm very cognizant of the fact that I just want to maintain where I am and then gently build strength wherever I can. So remember the Christmas tree? Well, last year I was able to jump on up there and kind of get everything done. And this year I noticed that I needed to place everything down before I got down because I needed to hold on to the ladder when I came down. And that's okay. I can't do the ladder hands free anymore. The world's not going to end. That doesn't make me anything negative or bad. And why I ever thought that not being not superwoman, but super daring woman. I don't know what I was thinking I could do things like that. But I don't know what part of me thought that losing the ability to go up and down a ladder without using my hands was some sort of a superwoman feat. But if it's gone, I'm still okay. At the end of the day, the tree did get taken down. Everything was fine. And I didn't fall or hurt myself or pull out my back and end up on the couch for 3 days. So I'm okay with that. And for me, now health looks a little differently. It's making sure that I get amazing sleep over punishing workouts. I still work out. I'm still working my body and moving, but I'm not trying to go hard all the time because it's important for me to be able to sleep and not be up all night aching. I'm choosing walking regularly over intensity. And I'm paying attention to my digestion, my mood, my nervous system, instead of just being fixated on the scale. I guess it's less about aesthetics and way more about energy and being able to. And now I choose gentle structure over discipline, right? So instead of getting up and having this endless list where I don't consider any happiness or joy or even time for meals in any of my day, I now have gentle structure. And I love it. This is the biggest shift for me because I'm very type A. I'm excessively organized, sometimes to a fault. And I spent most of my life trying to dominate my body, right? Making it do what I needed it to do so that it would listen to what my brain had to accomplish. But now I've shifted and now I'm collaborating with my body. What kind of a day am I having? Do I have more energy? Well, today I'm going to plug in whatever physical situation I won't be able to do on a lower energy day. And that's okay. I still believe in structure. I actually think making lists helps get things out of your head and into a manageable container. But my structure is now not a list of demands on myself, but it's meant to support me and not control me. So now my list has things on it like making sure I take my supplements, make sure I drink my water, walking, those are the things that become a part of my daily life and become important. And this one feels big to me. I'm almost down to no prescription medications. In my 40s, I was probably on 6 to 8 different medications. And honestly, I'm so proud. It didn't happen through punishment. It happened through consistency, through care, through listening to my body. Cooking real food has been huge. So as a mom of 4 kids, I learned long ago that eating out was probably not going to happen as often as I would have liked. And as time went on, I learned that that was okay, because in most cases, if I could make it better at home, then why eat out and spend all of that money and then come home disappointed because now I'm out however much it costs to feed a family of 6, and I wasn't really all that thrilled with our food. So a long time ago, I learned that I would cook at home using the perimeter of the grocery store and making sure that whenever possible, I didn't use a bunch of crappy box stuff. Now, my kids were very familiar with Kraft mac and cheese in the early school days, so I'm not sitting here passing any judgment on anyone who does anything any certain way. What I'm saying is, for me, I realized that cooking real food was critical. It made my kids better eaters. It made them understand nutrition a little better. And honestly, my dinners were better. And that's not ego. It's just reality. It was the facts. And now life has changed and food has become more social than survival, right? I don't feed my 4 children and make these big, huge meals every weeknight anymore. I make myself nice, quiet, healthy meals during the week. And when I go out, I enjoy my 20%. And I eat whatever I enjoy while still being aware of the fact that I'm being kind to my body. So like last night, I went out to dinner, really wanted to have a baked potato and some bread with butter. Did not. Instead, had a lovely platter with some different meats, had some grilled asparagus, some grilled vegetables, and called it a night. And I was satisfied and I was happy. And guess what? The company at dinner was just as enjoyable without the baked potato. Who knew? You know what else I'm listening to these days? I'm listening to my fatigue instead of fighting it. So the other day I went on a walk, and as I was walking back, I knew that I was trying to hit a certain number of miles. And I had been walking for long enough, and yet I said, well, if I keep going and then I do this little routine where I have to walk back, it takes me a little bit further because I check the mail on the way back, right? And I just knew that if I did the little extra, I was probably going to be hurting for the rest of the afternoon, and my hip was not going to be happy. And so instead of pushing myself out of habit, not need, I stopped. I slowed down. I didn't do the extra steps. I picked up my mail and I came home. And nothing bad happened. The world didn't collapse. I couldn't believe it. I don't need to push myself to prove something, but I'm also not trying to talk myself out of following through. I have finally realized that I need to be determined and I need to protect myself. And both can exist. So let's lighten things up a little and move on over to this week on the Verge. This week, you guys felt very sensory for me. So I'm going to share with you my week. I made a chile relleno casserole. I topped it with crema, served it with black beans and a big O salad. It's really easy to make. And if you're interested, send me a DM and maybe I'll put it on the Substack as one of the recipes for the month. Because if you are a fellow Catholic, then you know that Ash Wednesday is coming up real soon. And this chile relleno casserole is really good for those of you who abstain from meat on Fridays. And if you are keto, this is also a good one for you guys. So anyway, really easy casserole, threw it in the oven, topped it with some nice crema, made some black beans with a little bit of onions and green chilies in that, and some tomatoes, and then our big O salad. And I made my husband a blue cheese dressing finally. And for me, I stick with the either lemon squeeze and a tiny bit of olive oil, or I'll do some balsamic or some red wine vinegar and olive oil. And I didn't have a really pretty Sunday plating this time because I plated it family style. I got a big serving spoon, threw everything on the table. And honestly, it was lovely. It felt cozy, but still fresh. The food was delicious. And it got me to thinking about the Bloody Maria that I had with my girlfriend at brunch last week. It was so good. Now, I've talked about this a little bit before, and I'm going to put the picture on Instagram because it's worth the post. I mean, the visual does not do it justice. The secret is in the sauce, literally. Whatever they are using to make their Mary sauce is just delicious. It tastes very clear instead of tasting thick and I don't know. What is it? Acidy and thick like a tomato sauce. It doesn't taste like that. It tastes clearer and just tasty and yummy. I can't say enough about this. The reason I bring it up again, excuse me, is because I want to figure out how to replicate it. I have a girlfriend who fancies herself on making cocktails. And I think she and I need to get together and figure out how to make this Bloody Maria sauce so that I can enjoy myself a Bloody Mary every now and then here at home, because I'm telling you, it would have gone perfectly with that casserole. I also went to the Louis Vuitton store to pick up a repair. Not the best experience, honestly. So I'm going to refrain from saying anything because, well, my mama taught me better. But I had a lovely dinner with family over the weekend, and that really made up for anything that went wrong at the silly old Louis store. The dinner was sweet, grounding, touching, reminded me what it's all about. And that's what makes me so, so happy. Honestly, those are the moments in my life that I just feel so complete. So I'm going to tell you what felt good in my body this week. Eating at home most of the time. I didn't have a hugely social week last week, so I was able to eat dinner at home most evenings. And I really enjoyed the way my body felt. And as a bonus, I restarted the spa, so I had a couple of wonderful, lovely soaks, which I'm sure is helping the hip, and also just made me remember how much I love being home. What didn't feel so good this week? Well, honestly, some of the white wine and even some of the red wine. I have become way more aware now of how I actually am feeling after these tastings, instead of just pushing through them socially. So one of my girlfriends is a white wine drinker. The other one is a red wine drinker. And I can do both, but I can't do a lot of red wine without food. I think I've said that before. And so, I mean, when you're doing a tasting, you just get these tiny little pours. If you go to a place that has a nice pour, then you end up having, a couple of glasses of wine before you leave there. But most of the time you drink whatever it is that they're pouring you, because you get to select what you want to taste, right? We don't have to do that, guys. It's not always amazing. And so I learned that. Not that I didn't know it, I just learned to exercise it without shame or embarrassment, because at the end of the day, we all taste wine differently, and that's okay. So here we are, guys. It's time for this week's Winos on the Verge, my quick, honest winery review. And this week, we visited Cougar Winery on the Portola Trail in Temecula, California. Cougar was a gorgeous, gorgeous location. You drive up to the top of the hill to park. One of the things that is an issue, I'm told, is parking, because they have a very small parking lot, and then you kind of have to start parking up and down the hill. And so that would mean walking up and down that hill as you enter or exit the winery, which, could be a little bit daunting. And as you know, most wineries are not paved. There's a reason for that. And we'll talk about that another time. But I walked up, joined my friend who was overlooking the gorgeousness of the Portola Trail and the Temecula Valley. It was just really pretty out yesterday. The sun was out, but it wasn't too hot. There was a mild breeze. And so I walked in very excited to see my friends, and joined my first friend, and then our other friend joined us right after. And we headed inside. Well, unfortunately, there was a huge busload that just cut us off. My friends, I had gone to the car to put something away, and my friends had gone to the restroom. And by the time we came back, there were a busload of 25 people standing in front of us. So we basically got cut off from getting any decent service. And there was one pourer who was there that was, very nice and approachable, but extremely slow. And so the way this place is set up is there's a tasting bar, and then there are tables kind of strewn throughout, and then there's an outdoor area. They have a small deli, and so you go up and you do your tasting, you order your deli food all in the very same place. And the first thing that I was disappointed with is gone are the paper menus or plastic or menus of any sort that are hold in your hand and not on some electronic device menu. So you had to wait your turn to be able to see a menu. And that kind of annoyed me a little bit. But then when we did get to see the menu, I was excited about ordering soup and a salad. So we did that. And then we ordered a tasting. I was very disappointed by one brief encounter that occurred with one of the pourers there. One of my friends is an owner and investor in one of the wineries in the valley, and presented her industry card, if you will. And the pourer who took it said that we would get 2 free tastings and 30% off. And out of the blue comes this other person and essentially tossed the card back at my friend and said, "Owners and investors are not considered industry at Cougar," and walked away. It was really shitty. And so that in and of itself kind of set the tone for my experience there. And it took me a while to shake that off, but I leaned into the gorgeous day, and I realized, along with the help of my friends, that we should just let her be a nasty old bitter mean lady, and it's okay. By the end of the day, spoiler alert, I softened her, and all is good, because all's well that ends well. I still had an amazing time. But back to my review. Honestly, there were not many that I enjoyed. The tasting entitles you to 6 tastings. It's $25. And I started off with the Cougar Bubbly. It's $26 a bottle. It's a brut. And then I went on to Barbera. I had their 20 artist series estate cask Montepulciano, $57 a bottle. I had their Sagretino, and that's 18, and it's also an estate wine at $51 a bottle. That one tasted kind of young. I had a Lambrusca, at $57, $57 a bottle. And my favorite was the 2019 Bella Rosso. It was $41 a bottle, pretty drinkable, kind of light and tasted a little young, but still not too fruit forward and no tannins that, to speak of. Honestly, my favorite was the Primitivo port that I finished with, and that says a lot. So the vibe is relaxed. The property is gorgeous. I would say it's good for groups. It's casual. It's not a pretentious place. But if you want to be catered to, it was very obvious that if you were a regular, you got special service. They would come out and ask you what you wanted for your next tasting at the table. They'd come out and chat with you. They'd come out and check with you. If they weren't crazy about you, or if they didn't know you, or if they had a bone to pick with you for some reason or another, I don't know why they would, then they gave you the service, but they just kind of tolerated you. And so about the food, I had a Caesar salad with chicken, and the salad was fine. It was fresh. The chicken on the lean side, I would have been surprised if it was 2 to 3 ounces, not even 3 ounces of chicken, cut very small, served very sparingly. Nothing to write home about with the salad. And then I had the potato leek soup. It was supposed to be served with garlic toast. They didn't give me the garlic toast, but I don't eat bread anyway, so I didn't complain. The potato leek soup was okay, a little salty and a little grainy for my liking. But, it was okay winery lunch food. And my friend had a caprese salad that looked pretty delicious. I did have one little wheel with the tomato and the burrata and the basil, and that was nice. But no offense, Cougar, it's kind of hard to screw that one up. And I don't know if I'm being too hard on the experience because of the hospitality, but I said this before. It's really, really hard for me to have a bad experience when I get good service and hospitable people. Conversely, it's really easy to have a bad time when you get bad service, even if the wine is okay. And so for me, with this one, the wine was okay. I would not join this wine club. Probably not. Although I wouldn't rule it out. I think that the more fair verdict is to go back and give it a shot in a different environment with another group of staff. So I noticed that some of the whites and reds just didn't really sit great in my body. I told you that a little earlier. And that's becoming part of my rating now. Not just does it taste good, but how do I actually feel after? And after, I didn't feel fabulous. I left there feeling hungry, and I spent close to $70 on a tasting and lunch. So my takeaway for Cougar is it's a pass. I don't think it's a bad place to visit, but I would definitely not join the wine club at this time, and maybe that'll change in the future. But that's it for Winos on the Verge this week. Wish it was better news, guys. In closing, I honestly think that the biggest shift for me lately has been realizing that my body isn't the thing in my way. It's the thing that's carrying me through my one precious life. And the older I get, the less interested I am in forcing it to perform. I don't want to bully my body into cooperating. I want to honor it. I want to watch it almost from the outside in awe as I age with grace and strength. And I'm more interested in helping it feel safe, supported, and at home than impressive. Because this body isn't a project. It's my partner. If any of this resonated with you today, I ask you to like and share this episode with a friend. And maybe we can help someone else learn to be a little more kind to themselves. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I will be here until next time, living on the verge. Have a good one.